5, 4, 3, 2.
Realtors, you're in the right spot.
We're going to do this together.
Welcome to the Leading Edge Podcast.
These mentors showed me a map of success.
This is the place for real estate pros like you to get better at running your business, balancing your life, and having happy clients.
Do you know how powerful you are?
And now your host, Eric Thompson.
What's up, everyone? It's your good friend Eric Thompson on the Leading Edge Podcast. This one is episode number 95, which is called 5 Simple Habits of Money-Making Realtors. Is it okay with you if I give you some ideas on how you can make more money? Of course it is. I'm guessing that is quite all right with you. Let's do this. Okay, if you're wondering, yes, life is good. Life is amazing here in the Thompson household. The big news is right around the corner. I will be taking my 2 girls to Europe for their exchange. This is really cool, you guys. This is a combination of 2 dreams, one for me, one for my wife, Julie. Her dream was to have our kids do a foreign exchange. Get my kids to Europe. Things are going to happen. I'm taking them over there. I'm going to drop them off, get them connected to exchange families. They'll be there for 5 weeks. Pretty cool. I'll probably do a separate podcast all about that one. But let's go. Let's dive in. You're here to hear about the 5 simple habits of money-making realtors. What I'm going to tell you right up front is a couple things. I've left out the obvious ones, right? So if you're predicting that I'm going to talk about like the morning routine or the property review, you already know about those. And yes, those work. You should have a great morning routine and you should do property reviews, but I'm not going to talk about those. These 5 are just maybe more nuanced things that I'm seeing among realtors who are making money right now. These are habits. They have been habits. These are all habits that are easy to do. You can totally start these habits. Maybe some of them might feel a little obvious, but just pay attention to the nuances. What I want you to do, because I want you to make money, what I want you to do is do these, okay? I want you to do all 5, okay? So just in case you're like, oh yeah, I've heard about that, Eric, I already know about that. Well, but are you doing it? Are you doing it routinely, like I'll talk about? So hopefully you got your pen and paper, unless you're driving. Don't write if you're driving. And let's go, all right? So let's go. Here we go. Drum roll, please. The 5 simple habits of money-making realtors. Number 1, something they do, and this one it probably will come across as obvious, but hang in there with me. Number 1 is they look at their MLS hot sheet every single day. They look at the MLS hot sheet, usually in the morning, like first thing in the morning after they've done their morning routine, right? They're looking at that first thing in the morning. So they're not waiting till later in the day. Start their day knowing about the MLS hot sheet, obviously new listings, price changes, closings, withdrawn listings even, right? All those things, right? So they start their day feeling really smart about the market. So not but it's really, really good for mindset. It's good for confidence because they're starting every single day feeling really educated, really up to speed, really about what's happening in the market. And so, of course, that's instantly preparing them for any question that they may get about the market, because one of the strategies on the how's the market question that actually don't teach a lot, like I teach the 3 basic answers to how's the market, but an additional answer is to talk about a specific transaction, right? Or a specific price change. So someone says, how's the market? You can say, well, here's what's interesting. Actually, I just noticed in your neighborhood or right around the corner from you, this is what happened. And this is kind of indicative of what we're noticing in the market these days, right? And then you can talk big pictures, specific transaction or a specific instance that occurred in the market, and then relate that back to what's happening big picture in the market. That's a really, really good tactic on answering how's the market, right? Because people love stories, okay? So people love stories. So what you're doing is you're telling the story about a individual listing and individual transaction, right? Interest, then you can talk about the market in general, kind of at large. So that's a very good approach, right? Where you're coming across as being smart and up to date and educated, and does track the market every. So let's keep going with this, looking at the hot sheet every day. So they're not only using the hot sheet and looking at the hot sheet every day, they're not just noticing the things. They're thinking about, okay, how can I make this relevant? Who's this relevant to? What can I now do with this information? So it leads to them firing off to someone who may want to know about that, with a hyperlink to that listing. Hey, did you see this? Did you notice that? They're looking, of course, at their hot sheet, their warm sheet, trying to connect the dots on who needs to know about that, who about it. They can write a Facebook post about it. They can take a screenshot of the MLS hot sheet and turn that into a Facebook post. Here's what's interesting about today's hot sheet, right there. So not only are they looking at it to make themselves smarter, but then they're thinking about, okay, where are all the different ways I can use this that is useful to the people that would see it, that adds value, but for sure enhances my. Okay, so hot sheet every day in the morning, every day in the morning. And then how can I use this? How can I use the hot sheet itself? How can I use the information? I go full that, all right? That's what I want you to do. So speaking of leverage, number 2 habit that money-making realtors do is they leverage activity. They leverage activity, turn activity into even more activity. Now, the obvious example of this is when they have a listing, they leverage the heck out open houses, but neighbors only open houses, and all the coming soon marketing that you can do, given whatever's allowed in your local MLS, of course, all for social media on it, right? Sending direct mail on just listed direct mail piece, not just to the neighbors, but to their sphere. That's something that's overlooked. People that I interact with, they sending a just listed postcard to their sphere. So they're leveraging activity to the hilt, and they're also looking for other activity that they can leverage. Have you ever heard that expression, OPM, other people's money? That's something that's talked about kind of in the entrepreneur world. The wealth, people that teach wealth building, one of the tactics they teach is there are ways you can earn income by helping other people become wealthy, but you're really using their money. It's kind of the same thing where you're leveraging other people's activity. So think about just your company, right? All the activity within your company. Is there activity in your company that you can leverage, that you can talk about, that you can social media post, the open house that you can use, the getting permission from that listing broker to really promote that particular listing. If you think that that's a listing that happens to be super relevant to your sphere, a lot of people in that area, in that neighborhood, a lot of people that would be interested in that. You're trying to enhance your market, certain kind of a product type or that certain price point. Hey, can I help you promote that listing? And so get it in front of even more people, even in a direct mail piece, if that listing broker allows that, right? So it's seeing opportunity from other people's activity, and so can you become their strategic partner in helping the listing agent, helping that seller to promote their property, and then you benefit too. Like they're, instead of just sitting around and even being jealous of other people's activity, like, oh my gosh, they got another listing and I don't have much going on. Well, creative and approach that listing broker with some different things you could do to help that person out. Could you work together? Could you leverage that activity? All right. So that's what I notice among turn activity into even more activity, right? They see that as like a springboard for them to create even more because that's what the kind of the customer base, what's what people are interested in. People are interested in that activity to turn it into even more activity. That's number two. And number three, habit of money making realtors is this one's straightforward, guys. They talk about real estate all the time. They talk about real estate all the time. Now, in a cool way, not in like a pushy way, not in like a overbearing way, but they, even though the market has changed, even though the market has slowed down, they are not bashful at all about talking about the market, regardless of their own personal activity in that moment. They have no problem talking about the market. They just talk about the market. They have lots of opinions, lots of things to say about the market, which are all interesting. Again, when I'm not telling you to go drone on and like bore someone about the market, but they're just talking about it all the time. So when I say talk about it, I mean like out of their mouth, but I also mean on social media, on their website with blogging. They're sending newsletters out to their sphere that talk about the market. Like they just keep talking about even more to talk about right now. And here's what's crazy: like the underperforming, the not so professional realtor, what they believe is that there's now less to talk about because there are fewer transactions that are occurring. There's fewer listings in the market. So they're taking the mindset, they're taking the perception that there's less to talk about now. Well, I guess there's less to talk about now. Where high income earning realtor, the money making realtor, the true pro is seeing that, oh my gosh, there is even more to talk about now. Like I'm going to totally use what's happening in the market right now, all the changes, and actually the decrease in activity has increased my chance to talk about the market because all I has increased the questions that people have, has increased the curiosity, that has increased the intrigue that people are having about real estate or having about the market. So what I'm going to do, the money making realtor says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this even more, right? Because people are wondering, and so I'm going all in, right? I'm just going to shout from the rooftops about everything that's going on in the market and why that is and where I think it's going and what's going to happen next. And I'm doing a really good job. I'm really active in citing other people and their stats and their information. And I'm just going to talk about real estate all the time. Whereas the underperformer with their, they're kind of going into hiding, right? They're like hovers. They're like going into the cave, metaphorically, right? They're like hunkering down, like, oh, there's not much to talk about now. No way. There's so much to talk about now. So the money making realtors are talking about real estate all the time. Number four habit of the money making realtors is they put focus on goodwill, focus on transactions. So they don't wake up in the morning saying, where am I going to get action from? Who's deal? They don't think that way. How they think is, how can I build goodwill? What are some amazing good deeds I could do in the world today? What are things I can do that are just going to make people feel so good, right? About themselves, about the world, about me. What's something I can do to just go out and just make people happy? And guys, they have fun doing it. It turns out when you take an approach of, I'm just going to go out and build goodwill. I'm just going to go out and make people happy. You know what that is? That is fun, right? That is super fun. So here's a couple of examples. I'm recording this just after Easter. So even if you don't celebrate Easter, you at least know a little bit about the Easter holiday, right? And so someone that I know who's having a lot of success now, she celebrates Easter. And so she thought about the clients in her sphere who celebrate Easter, and she came up with this really fun little like gift basket that was Easter related. It was, super fun, right? It had like fun Easter candies and those silly little marshmallows and those all those things. And she just went out and spread the good cheer around Easter, right? And dropped to her very best clients and had a blast doing it. And the thing is that totally fits her personality, totally fits the personality of the other people. She just did that and she had so much fun doing it. Had nothing at all to do with real estate, had everything at all to do with building goodwill. Realtors who happen to have a niche, happen to have a lot of teachers in their sphere, right? And teachers are near and dear to my heart because both my wife and my mom are teachers. My mom was a teacher. My wife is a teacher. And so what they do is they think about all the things they can do for teachers. They just completely appreciate teachers. So can they drop off cookies for the teachers? Can they bring some gift cards to Starbucks for the teachers? Right? They just wake up like, all right, I love teachers. What can I do for teachers today? And they don't wake up and say, all right, I got to get a deal from some teachers. They don't think that way. They're just like, I just want to go make some teachers feel good because I just love teachers. I so appreciate what they do. I'm going to go make some teachers happy. So you know what happens as an outcome? A lot of teacher clients, right? They end up having a lot of business from teachers because they took the approach of, I'm just going to go build a whole bunch of goodwill teachers. One more example. There's a realtor I know who lives in California in the Lake Tahoe area. And I'm recording this again in April. And they snow this winter, like if you've seen the news, 2023, they had a ton of snow in the Lake Tahoe area. So you know what he's been doing? He's been going out and shoveling out cars in the senior center parking lot. All right. So that's what he does when they get these big snows. He cruises down to the senior center and he makes sure all the cars are shoveled out. I mean, how awesome. And you know what? He has fun doing it. It's like a good exercise, feels really good, builds a ton of goodwill, nothing at all to do with real estate. He's not doing it so he can get some deals. He's doing it to just build some goodwill and to have a blast and to feel really great about himself and about the world. And right, so what are things you can do? What's at least one thing you could do as a sole purpose of just building goodwill? I just gonna go make some people feel good. I'm gonna make some people happy. I'm gonna go fill a need that they have. Here's someone that needs some help. I'm gonna go help them. Here's a group of people that could sure use a boost. I'm gonna help them out. Here's a group of people who I so respect, so appreciate. I'm gonna go tell them that, show them that. I'm gonna have fun doing it. That's what money-making realtors do. And isn't that cool? Like, isn't that cool? Okay, number 5, my friends, number 5. I'm joking because I'm going to tell a personal story related to this. Number 5 is what they do is they freshen up. They're keeping things fresh, right? So they're saying, okay, we had a little slowdown here. We're having a downturn. And this is a chance for me to kind of freshen up. I need to freshen some things up. Chuckled before is what I want to share. What this makes me think about is back when I divorced from my first wife. I got divorced and spent a little time kind of in recovery mode, right? Kind of getting my head right. But then I was like, okay, I gotta get back in the game, right? I have to get out into the dating scene, right? Wasn't necessarily really looking forward to that, but I did know for sure. So you know what I had to do? I had to freshen up, right? There's some things I had to freshen up. Like best example is probably my wardrobe. You know, my wardrobe was not so fresh, and I had to kind of get with it, right? So if I was going to be back in the dating scene, if I was freshen up. So that's what money making realtors are doing right now is they're seeing this as a chance to freshen up, right? Freshen everything. So what I notice about these money making realtors is that things are just really fresh, right? Their marketing looks fresh. Things look really fresh and clean and sharp in their social media, on their website, in their print marketing. They're freshening up their buyer packet, their seller packet, they're freshening up their testimonials, they're freshening up their resume and their bio, they're freshening up their processes with sellers and buyers, right? They're freshening up their car, right? They're just like really cleaning up their car. They're freshening up their desk. They're freshening up their closets in their home. They're freshening up their junk drawer. right? They're freshening up their routine. They're freshening up their dialogues. They're freshening up maybe their wardrobe, their haircut, right? Have you freshened things up? Get fresh. So I don't think that I would have been able to start dating a woman as quality as Julie. In order to her to agree to start dating me back when we started dating, in order for her to say yes to that, I had to be freshened up. Like she's too quality of a person to say yes to dating a guy who wasn't fresh. So like I had to go through that process of freshening up to be for someone like her to come along. Okay, so you got to do the same thing. So if you want some great clients, if you want some quality people to work with, you got to be freshened up. You got to be on your game, right? So like do like a fresh audit, right? Like a freshening up audit. Like is everything fresh in my world? Gives me the great opportunity to start working with some really awesome people, right? And so that's the approach I want you to take. All right, so you guys, that was pretty fun, right? So 5 simple habits of money making realtors. Thank you as always so much for engaging with the podcast. I appreciate it. So look forward to seeing you on the next one. And until then, enjoy life on the leading edge.